Hello, everybody. Welcome to our chat with Chet. My name is EJ Porth. I'm the Associate Director at GVLT, and I'm very excited to introduce all of you to our new leader, our new Executive Director, Chet Work. And we're just going to learn a little bit more about Chet, hear a little bit more about where his background, where he's coming from, and then we have some fun questions so you can learn about his personality a little bit too. So, Chet, why don't you start by just telling us all a little bit more about yourself?
Thanks, EJ. Such a great welcome that I've received from the board and the staff at GVLT, and really excited to get to know our supporters and the community as well. A little background on me. I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and spent about 12 years there, and then began moving with some great frequency all over the country, all over the world, but found my way back to Yellowstone about 22 years ago. I spent a year living in Grand Teton National Park studying the ecology, the geology, the natural history, and a lot of the human history of the Yellowstone system at a place called the Teton Science School. And that was really formative for me. And though I have left the GYE a couple times, I always seem to find my way back. And I've lived in Jackson Hole, and I've lived in Victor, Idaho. I've lived in Driggs, Idaho. After my graduate degree, I came and began working for the Nature Conservancy in Idaho, working on the west side of the Yellowstone system, preserving the farms and ranches around Henry's Lake. And then I took a job with the Teton Regional Land Trust, which is the regional land trust for Eastern Idaho out of Driggs, and doing a lot of the same sort of work: trails, pathways, conservation easements, working with farmers and ranchers on habitat issues. And then we took a little turn. I've been here in Santa Barbara, California for the last 5 years, working for another land trust and doing great work on the coast of California. But as always, my family turns back to the mountains and back to Yellowstone. I have a wife and 3 kids, and we are all excited, I think, to join the Bozeman community and continue our work in and around the Yellowstone system.
Well, if it wasn't for COVID, that rascal COVID, Chet would be here in person, and so he's on his way soon. But for now, we are doing a lot of these Zoom calls. So let me ask you a fun little question. When you were interviewing with us, I remember you talking about your passion for critters. So I'm going to make you choose your favorite critter in the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem.
That can be a loaded question, EJ. One of my heroes, Aldo Leopold, says it's not wilderness unless there's something that can eat you. And I certainly appreciate the bears and the wolves and the lions. I'm really inspired by the wolverine, but I have to tell you, my favorite critter is actually the raven. And we don't get those in California. Well, not in my part of California. You just get crows anymore. But I've always been a big fan of ravens, and they're sort of my totem animal, and they are prolific in the Yellowstone system.
Interesting. That's a very good answer. How about you've been learning about GVLT, talking with staff and board. What word comes to mind that makes you think of GVLT and the work that we do so far from what you've learned?
I think what I can see from the outside, being in the land trust world, is sort of a tight-knit community of these 1,500 land trusts across the country. And what I would say from the outside, GVLT is inspiring to all the other land trusts, to myself included. I've been a big fan of GVLT, and Penelope's been a close friend for many years. But I'm just amazed by the sort of tenacity and the drive of the staff. I think as I get to know the organization more and more inside, I think that it's an organization of really passionate employees they're kind of scrappy. They're achieving as much conservation as they can, as quickly as they can, on limited budgets, and that's really inspiring, I think, for me as well as the rest of the land trust community.
Well, shucks, thanks.
I think that was like 5 words.
It's okay. We'll allow it. If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
I think seeing as my totem animal is a raven, that flight would be pretty nice. But I'm actually going to go with time travel. I'm a big fan in understanding the landform and the history of a place, and those lands around the GYE. I think they're pretty dynamic in terms of their biological and human history, and I'd like to see glaciers filling Jackson Hole. I'd like to see massive rivers. I'd like to see volcanism active in that area. I'd like to see Native Americans rendezvousing around the Yellowstone system and what that must have been like. And I feel like that would be that would inspire my sense of place.
I like it. Time travel. Okay, how about describe to everyone your perfect day in Montana. Assuming that you had the day off and you weren't working, what would you and your family or you by yourself be doing?
I don't want to say that it wouldn't include my family, but it might not. I love to watch wildlife. I love to watch birds. And, I haven't lived close enough to Bozeman to probably reach many of the places that the membership loves to go to. But I'm really excited to go back to some of my old haunts in the Lamar Valley or Red Rock Lakes Wildlife Refuge in the Centennial, or things in the Upper Madison. I'd love to get up early and see the animals moving around, go bird watching, that sort of stuff. And my other true passion is fishing, and I love a lazy float down the river, or I love a hike into a spring creek where there's not many people around and there might be some big trout for me to pick on. And I'm a bigger fan of sunrises than sunsets, but a good view is always nice. Maybe a hike late in the day would be a pretty good cap to the perfect Greater Yellowstone Bozeman day.
I love it. Well, those of our followers who want to help Chet explore some places around here and are willing to share their favorite top secret fishing holes, I'm sure he would appreciate that. So you're welcome.
The only one I've been given so far is the Bozeman Pond behind the mall. So if anyone's willing to share with a little more detail, I'll take it.
I'm not sure what you'd catch in there, but it's worth a shot. What do you see as the most exciting opportunities for GVLT at this current moment? What gets you stoked about starting this position?
Well, having only been on the staff for a little bit, I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I feel like the organization is doing a tremendous amount of work, and certainly on the trails front and the agriculture front. But I'm just really inspired. I spent a lot of time with the lands team and less time with the trails team so far, but there's a lot of projects that are out there. I think what I'm inspired by is the organization starting to think about sort of campaigns, or trying to leverage community investment in the lands around us and see if we can maintain the pace that we've been at despite an economic downturn, despite this pandemic. The opportunity really abounds, and I think what we're starting to see a little bit is more of the intersection of the threads of GVLT. So not only is it a property with habitats, but we can install some trails, we can proceed with agriculture. The more you can see those threads overlapping, I think the more inspired the community is going to get. And I think we'll have some pretty neat opportunities by the end of the year to share with the community, where you can see both habitat, recreation, and maybe even a little bit of ownership for the land trust playing a role together. You're winking at me, but we know what we're talking about. We just can't spill the beans.
So this is a teaser for all of our friends out there who love trails, love conservation. We have some very exciting stuff in the works, and we need your help. And when we're ready to share that, we're going to be so excited to bring you along. There's a lot of big things in motion now, and Chet's just jumping right in. Okay, here's a question. This is from my coworker, Laura. It's a tricky one. If there was a zombie apocalypse and you had to spend it in one national park with one weapon or tool and one person, where, what, and with whom would you choose?
I once spent 29 days in a camper van with my wife, and I had some friends suggest, how could you possibly spend that much time within arm's reach of another person? And I never even thought about it. There's only one person that I want to be with, and that's my spouse. And if I was in a park, it would be Yellowstone. And if I had a tool, I have no idea how you kill a zombie, so I better just stick with a fishing rod.
I like that. You know, teach a man to fish. You'd have food for life.
Or go down fishing is more how I was thinking it. I don't know how I'm going to fend them off, but if I'm not going to fend them off, I might as well go down with a good cast.
That's a great answer. I like that. What about a few words that would describe you? For those that don't know you yet, what are the words that come to mind?
Family. I love being with my kids. I'm really excited to have fishing and mountain biking partners. They're getting old enough to keep up or actually exceed dad's pace. I feel like I'm a fisherman. I feel like we've talked about this. I err on the side of having more fun. Life's too short to be grumpy about what you do, and I'm really passionate about conservation. So I choose to work in the field that I love, and that makes me bounce off to work each day because it's enjoyable for me. So it's an alliteration: family, fish, and fun.
I like that. The 3 F's of Chet. Okay, finally, so for our friends and followers of GVLT, how can we be helpful in getting you started? What are you wanting to learn about this community, about GVLT, and about the people that support us?
I feel like I know a lot broadly about the Yellowstone system, and I know very little about the people in the community of Bozeman. And I have a lot of friends there, but I'm really excited to hear what opportunities you all see as important for us with regards to trails and agriculture and habitat conservation and connectivity. And I think it's really important for us to obviously recognize the science and the background of the place that we live, but it's not that meaningful unless we have the community embrace. So I'm very excited to have to learn from the community what it is that you all want to see conserved and how you think GVLT can most help you personally or your niche in the community or the community in its broadest form.
Awesome. Okay, that's your charge to our friends and followers. Chet needs your help. And we as an organization just so appreciate all of the investments that you make in this mission. And we know how much you care about the Gallatin Valley, and we are absolutely doubling down, committed to keeping this place great for as long as we possibly can. And Chet is an awesome addition to our staff. We're all really excited about the next chapter. And I'm sure he would agree that, you know, his email inbox is probably a little full at the moment, but you are welcome to reach out. And certainly when he gets here in person, he's going to be eager to meet you all. And so thank you to our GVLT family. We love you. We miss you. We're sending you big virtual hugs from Bozeman and from California. And we are excited to have you, Chet. And maybe we'll do another one of these chats with Chet, just because I like the title, and maybe it's a series.
We take questions from the audience.
I like that. Yeah, next time we'll give you guys an opportunity to chime in. But for now, thank you, Chet. Thank you to our GVLT family, and we will see you guys soon.
Thanks, EJ.
Yep.